USA, 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 USA. This is the Dump and Chase podcast presented by the Hoosier Network. Olympic recap edition. USA took home 2 gold medals in Milan this year. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about first the men's game. That was yesterday morning. Seuss, initial reactions, just your take, your experience watching this overtime winner.
Okay, so first things first. I missed the entire first period due to my alarm not going off. Shout out my alarm. Great goal to start off the game for the U.S. They played a very sloppy game. Canada tied it shortly after that. And it was like the worst game defensively for the U.S. Connor Hellebuyck, shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
You deserve the keys to every state in the United States. You are just incredible. Great game for Helly. And then you have Jack Hughes capping it off. What a great game for the United States. Not a great game for the United States. It was sloppy. They stole it. I think Canada definitely should have won that
Who
game.
was there's a soccer player from back in the day. I think it's Italy. I think it was like Italy's national team, and they had a defender who had a quote that was like, "If the goalie does his job, then I have failed mine." The U.S. defense failed in their job so much yesterday because of how good Connor Hellebuyck had to be. Like, he took 42 shots on him yesterday, and the stills that we got and the pictures that were taken of just the heroic saves.
The Devon Taves one was the one that comes to my mind originally. Right in front, and he just got a paddle on that one.
Yeah. Incredible work for Connor Hellebuyck. But that's what kept the U.S. in the game. Nothing else. I mean, you put up 2 goals against Jordan Binnington isn't anything special. I mean, obviously, I know Canadian Binnington is a different breed than St. Louis Binnington, but the goaltending is what saved him yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I noticed when we opened up the show, no introduction from you of the podcast and the members. You were just too excited. You were just excited to talk about this game. But anyways, yeah, unbelievable game. You know, it really was dominated by Canada for the majority of it, but especially in a sport like hockey, it really just matters what the final score is. And when your goalie does their job, it's really easy to win games. I mean, this was basically the Rangers in every playoff game over the last 10 years. Igor Shesterkin makes 40 saves. They don't do anything offensively, and then they get one lucky bounce and they win the game. I will say, I think really more so is the forward core for the United States that didn't really do much. I mean, they just didn't really have much zone time. I mean, you look at the plays that some of these defensemen made. Charlie McAvoy saved a goal in the second period. Really nice play. You had some defensemen just breaking up passes in front of the net, making some really, really nice plays. I think in the end, sure, Connor Hellebuyck was big, but when we first started talking about the rosters of these teams, my favorite part about the U.S. roster was the defense core. And I think we really saw in the Olympics how deep the defense core was, how well they played in their own zone. And I think that was the ultimate reason why the U.S. was able to go all the way and win this tournament.
And I want to give an apology to Connor Hellebuyck again because in our last episode, I was very big on the U.S. starting either Swayman or Ottinger.
Yeah, I agree.
I look back on that and I'm like, ooh, I messed up.
Well, and I mean, it's all about the system, and it's about who's going to get hot for 4 or 5 games.
Yes.
So, in a roster entirely built out of NHL guys, it's going to be hard to find a goalie that's not going to be solid. And Hellebuyck was the right choice. And not to say that Ottinger couldn't have done the job, or someone couldn't have done this job, but in this system that they wanted Hellebuyck, and then he got it done. It's interesting to me. We talked about this is kind of like the Olympics of the Minnesota Wild. A lot of representation. Getting that Matt Boldy goal in the gold medal game was a lot of fun. I was in bed watching it. I forgot to set an alarm, but I woke up at like 7:56 and it was like, hey, I made it. And then turned it on, and it was a good game.
Yeah, I woke up to it being 1-0. I'm like, I was happy when I woke up, and then they scored, and I was like, come on, guys. But I'm gonna give credit to Austin Matthews. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. He led the U.S. to a championship.
His only championship of his career.
And that's what the Toronto media should be focusing on, according to Quinn Hughes.
Exactly.
Quinn Hughes was so wasted yesterday. It was really funny.
After he ordered another Corona from the guy off camera. Yeah. Funny stuff from the U.S. team. There was a lot going on in that locker room after. A lot of fun celebration.
Yeah. Good for them. Let's talk about the women's gold medal game. Equally fun. Honestly, arguably better. I mean, similar results, but in terms of the theatrics and the inhuman goal scoring at the end, I give the women's team even more credit than the men's team in this one.
The U.S. dominated that entire tournament, and they really struggled in that game.
That's the one thing I will say is that this men's Canada team far better than the women's Canada team.
100%. Canada's women's team was very good defensively.
Yeah.
They were in front. They at least had 3 people in front of the net at all times blocking shots, which U.S. didn't have really great chances. They kept them to the outside the entire game until Hillary Knight found the net with 2:04 left in the third.
Yeah, I definitely think that you could argue that the women's game was probably a better game. I mean, it was the first time all tournament the United States had been tested.
Right.
I mean, for the first 55 minutes, they did not have really many good chances at all. Canada just completely shut them down. They scored a shorthanded goal, and it really looked like that they were going to pull off.
That shorty was so upsetting.
It really was, but the U.S. came through, though. I mean, they pulled the goalie over 2 minutes left. Hillary Knight just gets her stick on the puck in front of the net, and then how about that Megan Keller overtime goal from a defenseman?
Ridiculous. Like, genuinely one of the not just best goals, not just most clutch goals, one of the best goals I've seen at that stage.
Just an incredible move just to get past the defender.
Yeah.
And then just to put it in. And Hillary Knight with the game tying goal. This could be her last Olympics.
Right.
She is a U.S. women's hockey legend, in my opinion. She's been doing this for a long time. Won 2018 in Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
And she got another one here.
Yeah. And I mean, really solidified that legacy. I mean, like you said, already has that legacy, but that goal on its own made her a household name for non-hockey houses. Like, people that don't watch, don't care about hockey know who Hillary Knight is now because of that goal.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same can be said for Megan Keller as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the United States goalie. I forgot what her name was.
So
but
you forgot it, but it's a household name.
Yeah.
Now.
Frankel. I can't.
Yeah. Erin Frankel.
Erin
Frankel. She was phenomenal in that game as well. Only gave up 1 goal.
On 30 shots.
It was really the goalies for both United States teams that were the unsung heroes for the U.S. capturing all the gold in Milan.
Yep. All right, let's go into a full perspective of this tournament. We had a couple episodes. We had a preview. We had kind of a midway. Let's look back and just talk about what we got right, what we got wrong. Let's review some predictions. I have some previous rundowns open. I'll start with myself because I said that Sweden was going to win the whole thing. And this Sweden team I thought looked great on paper, and they really just underperformed in pool play, and that gave them a really tough spot once we got into the knockout round. Ended up getting the U.S. in the quarterfinals, and that was it for them.
Like you said, I think they were the 3rd best team entering this tournament on paper.
Yeah.
They just didn't get the results. And they played U.S. up to the minute.
Oh, yeah.
It took all of Sweden to lose that game, but they played a very good game, and I still really think they were the 3rd best team in this tournament. I think they're better than Slovakia and they're better than Finland. Honestly, Sweden still is a really good hockey team, and I feel like they got screwed with who they played.
I mean, it's sort of like, you remember the 2023 WBC?
Yes.
When, Venezuela played the U.S. in the quarterfinal, and that was really the semifinal because the way that the pools and the rounds were constructed, they had to play Cuba in the semifinal, and Cuba wasn't anybody. And so it's just one of those things where you get into tournaments like this where it's not based on a full season, it's based on a few games. And the way that it's set up, you could get screwed with an early matchup against a very good team.
I think the problem with Sweden, some of their games was I just think their goaltending. Their goaltending, I think, underperformed compared. I mean, I thought that they had possibly the strongest group of goaltenders coming of any team coming into the Olympics, and they just didn't perform up. They weren't bad. They just didn't play good enough to get a medal. And I guess some of their offensive guys also underperformed. I mean, I'm just looking down the list. Mika Zibanejad was their best goal scorer. I mean, that's not what I was expecting from Team Sweden. I think you guys are right. I think they got screwed playing the U.S. in the quarterfinals. That certainly was not a good draw. And to Sweden's credit, they played very well. They sent that game into overtime. They ended up losing, but it's unfortunate that they had that draw, but at the end of the day, they did underperform, and it was quite obvious before the quarterfinals even came that they were just nowhere near up to the level that some of these other teams were. Yeah. Even teams like Slovakia, who ended up playing for a bronze medal.
Yep. Go back to that goaltending. I would have really wanted to see them make some switches in group play, because Markstrom was all 5 games, right?
I think Gustafsson played 1.
And then didn't they go to Wallstat for one?
Did they?
I don't know. I was thinking that they should have played Wallstat for all the games.
Let me see.
But near then, it was Markstrom in net.
Markstrom played 5 games.
Yeah.
Well,
Wallstat not
no,
play?
Sweden didn't play 5 games in the tournament though. They played 4, right? That doesn't make any sense. Why is it saying that?
Let me see.
It's really it really stinks to try to find Olympic stats.
I know it's rough. It's like college baseball.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking all over for it and you cannot find it. Let me see. I do not want to talk about men's curling right now. Fun sport.
Here we go. I've got it. Markstrom played 3, Gustafsson 2, Wallstedt did not play.
Okay.
Wallstedt did not play at all.
Okay. So
That's why.
Markstrom was the goalie for that game against the U.S.
Yes.
And he played very solid, a 95 save percentage. But that was his best game in the whole tournament, which is part of the issue. I mean, he had an 87 save percentage throughout the whole event. Gave up about 2 goals a game, and
That's not bad, but it's just not good
it's
enough.
not bad, but it's one of those things where if you're the head coach of a team that has so much depth in your goaltending, you use all 3 of them in group play, especially in a tournament where everybody moves on past group play. You have so much leadway in these early, round robin matchups where you can try out all 3 guys and see who's hot. Now, I think it's a strategy that teams like the U.S. or Canada could have used, except for the fact that they just got it right the first try. But in the future, if Sweden has this sort of strength in their goaltending, they need to utilize all 3 and figure out who's the hottest at the moment.
And you got to remember the U.S. and Canada both went to Logan Thompson and they went to Jeremy Swayman after the first game.
Right.
They tried to see who was hot.
Yeah.
And then okay, Hellebuck worked and Binghamton worked, so they went back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the best example of using group play to your advantage is Finland. I mean, they got blown out by Slovakia in their first game, and they ended up winning the bronze medal, beating Slovakia in a rematch. So I think they just really proved that group play doesn't really matter that much. And Sweden should have played around a little bit more in group play to figure out which goaltender they should have used. And maybe if they had done that, they would have had more success down the road.
Let's talk about teams that surprised us. We mentioned this a little bit on the halfway episode, but Team Slovakia was the biggest story of the tournament when it comes to these underdog teams. Jack, talk about Team Slovakia and what they were able to pull off with this roster.
They were just fun to watch. If you watch Team Slovakia in any of these games, they were just a joy to watch. It really just exemplifies just a country coming together, national pride, and just showing out in the tournament. They didn't have many NHLers on this roster, but they did have Jaromír Slafkovský, who had 4 goals in the tournament. Really, really solid tournament from him. You had some other really good players. You had Dalibor Dvorsky, have 3 goals for Slovakia. I was really impressed with the way Slovakia played, and I think it's a great achievement for their country that they were able to play for a bronze medal in a tournament that Slovakia was not in the Four Nations face-off. They finished ahead of a team that was in the Four Nations face-off. I think that alone is a massive achievement for Slovakia. Samuel Halavai, 908 save percentage is pretty good for playing against the best in the world. I think that Slovakia, if they ever decided to expand the Four Nations face-off or have a bigger tournament here, Slovakia should absolutely be invited to compete in that.
That's what I was going to say. How has these Olympics potentially impacted future international events like the Four Nations face-off? Do we think we could see an expansion of these sort of international events with teams like Slovakia? Or even the Swiss had a decent, showing.
Yeah.
They didn't even play bad.
The Czech had a pretty solid tournament. Even like a reinstatement of Russia. That's 4 more teams. That's 8 teams.
The roadblock in that would be if it was run by the NHL or it was run by somebody else. Because if it was run by the NHL, they might not allow non-NHLers to come and play.
That's true.
Because Russia, they could. Because Russia, there's enough. But Slovakia, there's, I think, only 5 NHLers.
That's a good point.
But if they could make an exception if they wanted to, and I think they should. I think it'd be a great thing to expand the tournament.
And I think you could take inspiration from, I believe the World Baseball Classic is still a branch of Major League Baseball. I think there's some
connection there.
I can't confirm that, but I believe there's some dual ownership.
That's a great point.
But it's an independent event. It's not ran by the Olympic Committee. It's not ran by FIFA. But it uses players from all over the world. Jack, are you looking it up?
Yeah, it's run by the World Baseball Softball Confederation, but also organized by World Baseball Classic, a partnership with Major League Baseball. So they do have a role in the World Baseball Classic.
I knew that what is it, WBSA, whatever the
Yeah.
I knew that they had a big part of it, but even just the fact that like websites look the same as MLB. But that's my point is that you can have a Four Nations face-off separate from NHL play. You don't even have to make it an all-star event. You can make it in the middle of the summer if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of having this revenue and this, international play and just love of hockey.
I don't know if the players would do that though in their off season.
Listen, we could do something we did before. The World Cup of Hockey in 2016. It didn't work out for the United States in that one, but I feel like they could go back to that. They can get.
When was that? Like what time of year?
That was in September. That was before the season started.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that maybe not summer, but a preseason?
That would work.
Preseason, I think, is a lot better than off season.
Yeah, because that's what World Baseball Classic
Exactly,
is.
yeah.
So I think that actually could work.
They had 8 teams in the tournament, 16 games played, and it was pretty successful for it being in 2016.
Yeah.
And Russia was there. You could add a lot of teams. Like, this could work. Gary, are you listening? We do not need the All-Star game back, please.
And I think it even sports are just so much more in the public eye than they were, 10 years ago. And the fact that a game like hockey is growing in parts of Western Europe, where you have France and you have Germany, even Italy participating in this tournament, that could be part of the future as well. As you see these teams that are not hockey countries, but they're growing and they're getting to be a part of this, where you can expand to 12, 15 teams in an international tournament.
The NHL, or hockey in general, compared to sports like baseball, soccer, basketball, of course, it's a smaller game in other countries. But if you have the ability to grow the game in other countries, you have to take it.
Well, because it used to be you could only play where it was cold.
Yes, exactly.
But nowadays you can build a stadium in Honduras if you wanted to and get in a Honduras national team.
Exactly.
You could. I think if these Olympics prove one thing, it's the fact that the NHL should never not send their players to the Olympics
Absolutely.
again. It makes it so much more marketable.
Yeah.
And I think the NHL gained a lot of fans with this. I mean, this tournament I think went as well as it possibly could have for the NHL.
For sure.
You got the finals you wanted.
Yep.
You got the U.S. Canada.
And you did it at the Olympics are at a perfect time where you're not directly competing with other sports leagues for viewership.
Yeah.
NFL's in their offseason. MLB has barely started. The NBA, the All-Star break, nobody cares about that anymore.
Right.
So I think this is a really big success for the National Hockey League. And I think we're going to see that with the viewership numbers over these last couple months and into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And how do you go back to an All-Star game now?
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
you
a
can.
big question.
You have to do, I think, an international tournament of some sort, like the Four Nations, to compete with the viewership.
Well, even the fact that even before the Four Nations, All-Star games were still set up like a Four Nations face-off, just with your own division.
Yes.
It was such a weird format that, frankly, players didn't overly care about, and it was such a strange setup, and there were so many All-Stars is also part of it. So yeah, I'm all in favor for a Four Nations face-off on a consistent basis.
Yeah, we don't need to go back to the All-Star games. Those are you can honor the players, but we don't need to watch them.
Yeah,
play
baseball is the only All-Star game that I actually care about because the players actually try.
Right.
Baseball used to be really cool when it meant you got home advantage in the World Series. That's what I liked.
right.
That's the only reason why the Cardinals won the 2011 World Series was because, I forget who it was. Somebody hit a go-ahead homer in the All-Star game to win it for the NL, and so Game 6 was in St. Louis.
Because you were a wild card team that year, and Texas was, I believe, the best team in the American League
Texas
that
won
year.
like 98 games that year, and the Cardinals won like 85.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why baseball is amazing.
Bud Selig. That was his choice. All right, where are we at?
I think we're at we were talking about Slovakia as a big surprise, and then we went on this whole rant about
Where the NHL should go from here.
about future
right.
All-Star break considerations.
Let's go back to the tournament. Besides the gold medal game, Seuss, what was your favorite game to watch in this tournament?
Ooh, my favorite game. I think I'm going to have to go with that Canada-Finland game, the semifinals. That game was awesome. Finland had a lead in the third, and then they just let it get away. You saw Canada really dominate in that third period and show their true colors. Just a great game all around. I did enjoy the Canada-Czech game
That's my answer.
in the game before.
Dude, the
You want to talk about
Canada-Czech
that a
game
little
was
more?
awesome. First off, I want to talk about the finish. They had a very quietly great tournament.
Yes.
Like the fact they were a goal away basically from going to the gold medal game.
Exactly.
And frankly, we didn't pay that much attention to them throughout the Olympics. I mean, they weren't, highly marketed. They didn't have a crazy deep NHL roster. just a very good team that put up a fight against Canada.
Yeah, well, remember, I brought up the Czechs before the tournament as a team that I liked, that I thought could possibly medal, and I think they could have easily medaled if they would have medaled if they got by Canada, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they got blown out by Canada in the preliminaries. So I thought it was really impressive by them to compete with Canada, almost win. And unfortunately for the Czechs, once they got to 3-on-3, they were screwed because that significantly benefits Canada over them.
Yeah.
And you also got to remember, sorry to interrupt you, Jack, but Finland was down 2-0 to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And they came back and they won that game. And Switzerland was my sneaky team of the tournament.
The amount of one-goal games
It was just incredible.
was wild. I mean, Canada was...
There was 3 overtime games in one day.
Canada won by 1 goal in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and gold medal game. Like, they were that close to being knocked out so many times. And, I mean, obviously, eventually they were. But, and like we said, the finish in Switzerland game, a 3-2 overtime game, when right after the Canada-Czech one,
And then
it was right before, or after.
it was after.
Was it? Okay.
It was like it started during the game and
Okay.
it finished after.
Okay. And then the U.S. and Sweden was after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. 3 overtime games in one day
Yeah.
of hockey.
And then Slovakia beat Germany 6-2.
Yeah, exactly. The morning game. The 6
Germany,
a.m.
what a disappointment Germany was.
Yeah.
I know they didn't have high
always-
At
expectations.
least they beat France.
They did. I really thought they were going to be better
Always
than
the
this,
bridesmaid, never the bride.
I really thought that Germany was going to be better, a better team than they showed.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, other than France, they were blown out and basically. I mean, they lost to Latvia.
The real
Yeah.
question is, what does that tell you about Leon Draisaitl? Can he not carry a team on his own?
I don't think that you can put this on one forward.
Yeah.
I think that
He
defense,
didn't play really.
giving up 6 goals to Slovakia is not Leon Draisaitl's fault.
It's not Leon, but he is the leader of this team, and he didn't produce at a production level where I thought he was going to be.
I mean, Austin Matthews is the leader of the Maple Leafs, and they suck this year. So I don't
At least he
I don't
has a
think you
gold
can
medal.
always. He does have a gold medal. You can't always pin it though on the leader of a team, except for the Rangers because their leadership's awful.
Yeah.
JT Miller.
Oh God.
He has a gold medal now too.
He does.
Guys.
So yeah.
Favorite game besides the gold medal game?
I think we already talked. I think we
Jack.
already got all that. Jack, did you have a different answer?
Yeah, I'll choose. I'd probably agree that Canada Czechia was probably my favorite, but just to be different, I'll say U.S. Sweden. I thought that was a
Yeah.
really fun overtime game. I obviously wasn't alive for this, but it gives you flashbacks for Rangers fans, Game 7 of the '94 Eastern Conference Finals, where you're up 1-0 the entire game. Sweden scores with like a minute left in the game, and then the United States ends up winning in overtime to basically send them to the championship. Like Slovakia was no match for them, so this basically was to send them to the gold medal game.
When Sweden tied it
It's a
up, it
bad
gave me flashbacks of Blues Jets just a few months ago.
Yeah, it
but,
did.
yeah.
Now, fortunately, Sweden was with a minute and a half and not in the final second.
Not 2 seconds left.
Yeah, that was insane.
I was out of Culver's losing my mind with that.
Not
happened.
yeah,
Shout out
but
Culver's.
it was an
Culver's.
awesome game though. I mean,
Sponsor us, Culver's.
Sponsor us, Culver's.
I mean, shout out to Quinn Hughes winning it in overtime. He had an awesome tournament.
Yeah.
I don't really think there was a bad player on Team USA other
No.
than Jeremy Swayman, but that doesn't count. I'm not even counting
Yeah,
that.
I mean, he didn't get to play that much. So.
Yeah, he played one game against
Yeah.
Denmark, and then they got rid of him. So
Even like guys like JT Miller and Vincent Trocheck were used for faceoffs. They did a great job.
Yeah.
And on the penalty kill, they didn't give up one goal
That was crazy.
on the penalty kill the entire tournament.
The moment where I thought this team was going to win the gold during the Canada game was when a 3-on-5 and the U.S. killed 2
Yes.
penalties.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like sometimes you get a 3-on-5 and it's like 6 seconds of 3-on-5 and then
And
it
then
goes
the
to
other guy
4 on
comes
5.
it was
Yeah,
a minute and a
It
half.
was a minute and a half of 3-on-5 hockey, and they didn't give up a goal.
And remember, there were some people out there, definitely not me, saying that Trocheck and JT Miller didn't belong on Team USA.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't me, guys.
Just a very well used roster. Like it was well
Very well
coached, where
constructed.
every piece was where it was supposed to be, and it was used in the way that it was intended to.
Yes, you definitely think, okay, Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, those are deserving guys. But they made the roster so well constructed where they had guys for the penalty kill, for the power play, just in the right place.
Yep.
Let's give a shout out to Jake Ottinger. He got to take a 2-week vacation in
he
Italy
did.
and is a gold medalist.
Heck yeah. He's the Tyrese Halliburton of hockey.
Basically,
A+,
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
You got an A+.
Yep. Let's talk about MVP of the tournament. I'll go first because we're already kind of talking. We're staying on theme. The obvious MVP for me is Connor Hellebuck. Just outstanding performance. giving up just over a goal a game, save percentage sitting around 96% across the games, and a stellar performance in that gold medal game. Was there any goaltender better than Connor Hellebuyck in these Olympic Games?
Absolutely
There was not.
Yeah.
And it's really special considering that Connor Hellebuyck has a reputation of not showing up in big games.
Yep.
This was, I would say, the biggest game of his life. I don't think any playoff game that Winnipeg has played in is bigger than a gold medal game.
Yeah.
So the fact that he showed up, had 40 saves, 2 or 3 unbelievable S-tier saves, I think he really did prove a lot of people wrong yesterday.
That's why I didn't think he was going to be good in this tournament because he never shows up in the playoffs. He didn't really show up in Four Nations.
He did show up at home in the playoffs. He was a great home goaltender.
But when it came
when he had to go to St. Louis and hear Connor the whole game, that's when he was pulled in 3 games.
Yes, exactly.
3 games. Yeah.
Oh, God.
MVP, Seuss, who is it?
It's definitely not the guy they gave MVP in the tournament to. I'm not giving it to Connor McDavid. I'm giving it to his teammate, Macklin Celebrini.
Good call.
Macklin played an awesome tournament, and he's only 19. In 4 years, he is going to be on a vengeance to win a gold medal for his country. And he might. And I'm going to give another shout out to another guy. Very underrated, my guy Joel Armia. He had a great tournament, 8 points in 6 games. Who would have thought he would be the leader of this Finland team in points?
Yeah. Jack, what do you think?
I'm gonna go back to the United States. I'm gonna go with player who I believe to be the most underrated player in the National Hockey League right now, Zach Werenski.
Okay.
Zach Werenski led the United States in plus minus, had a +8. He had the game-winning assist on the Jack Hughes golden goal. Lifted the stick of Nathan McKinnon before making that pass. Something I noticed watching back that play. And he was just phenomenal all tournament. He'd block shots. He was played on the power play, killed penalties. I think just such an underrated contributor because he's not as much of a name brand as Quinn Hughes is or as some of these other defensemen are, but you could argue that Zach Werenski was the heart and soul of Team USA. And what an awesome moment after the golden goal to see him and Dylan Larkin get Johnny Gaudreau's kids and bring them in for the team photo. That was a very
cool.
emotional and
so
special
sick.
moment. And one last thing before I send it back to you. All 4 players on the ice for Team USA during that game-winning goal were all from the state of Michigan. Funny enough.
Wow.
Zach Werenski, Dylan Larkin, Connor Hellebuyck, and Jack Hughes, all from the state of Michigan.
Shout out Michigan
Shout
hockey,
out
man.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Shout out Kalamazoo.
Shout out Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, that's right.
A guy that I want to talk about real quick for like 5 seconds. This guy, Nick Olsen. It's either Olsen or Olsen from Denmark. Not an NHL guy. Plays for Český Budějovice.
I like that.
He shot the puck 9 times in the Olympics. Scored on 4 of them.
He had the same amount of points as Pasternak.
Yeah. And he
That's
shot the puck
crazy.
9 times.
Crazy.
Crazy stuff.
Who else can we give a shout out to? Dvorsky, awesome tournament.
Dvorsky was pretty good.
As a Blues fan, Noah, you must be really excited about him in the future.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. Just sure.
Let's just keep tanking and see what happens.
Lucas Raymond, awesome tournament. Was Sweden's point leader in the tournament.
Yep.
Anyone else that you guys can think of?
Jordan Bennington had a solid.
He had a solid tournament. Really? Anyone else?
Did you guys mention Leonardo Giannoni from Switzerland, the
No,
goaltender?
did
He had
not
a
mention.
945 save percentage.
He was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Tim Stutzel had a pretty good game.
Stutzel, from Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a young star for the. I like Ottawa's young core. I know they haven't had a good season, but I like some of their young players that they have.
But when Ottawa gets more in that veteran age and competing in that division, I think they're going to be taken more seriously.
I agree.
Yes.
I think the Atlantic is just so good this year.
If Ottawa happened to be, in Portland and they were playing in the Pacific Division, they would be a very good team.
Hell, I think they'd be like the 3rd best in the Metro, to be honest, with the way the Metro is right
dude,
now.
Metro's
Let's
also
move
rough.
Ottawa to Portland.
And if Sidney Crosby's injury is significant,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We don't know the timetable on that one.
we saw what happened with Matthew Tkachuk in the Four Nations.
Yeah.
Missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
If Crosby misses, even if he misses 10 games, that can do a lot of damage because
Sure.
they are not nearly as good without him.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, Kevin Fiala too, man. How is that gonna? That's gonna play some big roles on the playoffs going forward. He's such a big part of this Kings offense. They are adding Artemi Panarin, which we haven't talked a lot about yet.
It is kind of stupid.
But losing Kevin Fiala is a major loss for
That
this
was
Kings
such
team.
a stupid trade for both teams, to be honest.
While we're on the subject, let's officially transition back to regular dump and chase, let's talk about some NHL hockey.
It's been a
as
while.
as we get back into the season.
It's been a
this
while.
year.
We're back. Oh,
We got a few
back.
minutes left on the show. I'd say about 10 minutes. We can talk for some
Let's
NHL
do
hockey if you guys are interested. What stands out to you guys right now? This is unscripted. This is off the rundown. Let's just talk some NHL. Jack, give me a playoff race and why it interests you.
I'm really interested to see how third place in the Metro plays out. Carolina, they're the best team undoubtedly in that division. Pittsburgh has really surprised me this season. I don't know if I fully believe in them yet. But I think that third place, though, you have the Islanders currently sitting there, but Columbus is coming out of the All-Star break on a 7-game winning streak. Ever since Rick Bowness became their head coach, they have played like arguably the second best team in this entire division since he got there. And I believed in them before the start of the season. I said they were going to be a top 3 team in the division, and I think they absolutely can be. They have one of the easiest schedules in the league after the All-Star break. I think if they just continue to do what they do, I think they have a real shot to make the playoffs. I don't think it'd be as a wild card. I think it'd be as a third place team in the Metro.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Metro right now is that, like you said, the Canes are the only team that I trust.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Islanders, I think, are a good hockey team.
Yes, 100%.
The Pens, I think, are good.
They're great on special teams. That's what they do
great
well.
on special teams. But yeah, Columbus, Washington, and the Flyers have all shown signs of being good hockey teams. And the Devils were an elite team for the past, 3 or 4 years
Yes.
of the NHL. And so genuinely, everybody but the Rangers, I think, has a legitimate shot at getting back in this. Now, do I think that the mountain is a little steep for Philadelphia and Jersey? Sure. I mean, you're going to have to make up significant point differentials. But I still think it's very wide open, like you said, Jack.
I think for Pittsburgh, it really depends on one thing. How long is Crosby out
Yeah.
for?
Oh, yeah.
In my HN article, which is not even close to being out yet, I have to do 2 more divisions, I wrote that Columbus is going to catch Pittsburgh if Crosby is out long term. That's what I truly believe. I think the Islanders are going to be in second and Columbus is in third.
What do you mean you're not close to publishing that? That's like a 45-minute job right there. You gotta
No, I just have to do 2 divisions left.
you gotta get it out.
That's half the league.
That is half the league.
Wait, how long did it take you to write the first half?
I worked on it at 10 o'clock, and then I was just sitting there for an hour.
So last night.
Yeah, last night.
Okay, so you're good. I was thinking
I didn't start
I've been working on this for the past few days.
No, I started it last night.
Okay.
Wait, I didn't even realize that Florida was in last place in the Atlantic. I just realized that they're in last place. The defending back-to-back Cup champs.
I mean, who else would be last place?
Toronto.
I guess
I
Toronto.
thought-
Ottawa.
I just thought Ottawa would
but
be
at
a
least
bit further
Toronto and
down.
Ottawa have the roster right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Florida's still hurt.
They're still missing Barkov.
Yeah.
Matthew Tkachuk just came
Huge
back.
loss for Finland in the tournament.
I think it's too late for Florida to make a run.
Absolutely. Because of how good this division is.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Metro, if you're the Devils and you want to make a crazy comeback and get into that third place spot, it's possible because the odds that the Flyers, Capitals, Blue Jackets, and Islanders all fall off a cliff in the second half of the season is very possible compared to the Atlantic, where what are the odds that Buffalo, Boston, Ottawa, and Detroit all fall off?
Boston, I can see it because Boston's been
But I'm saying
so
all of
up and
them.
down. Yes, all of them, no.
No.
Boston, I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in them.
Do we still believe in Detroit as the third team in the Atlantic, or do we want to see? Do we see Buffalo
This
in
has been
there?
our conversation all year.
I know.
I have no clue with it because every time I say no, they just keep on winning hockey games. I do think I'm gonna say it. I do think Detroit's gonna stay.
Detroit still has a negative goal
Yes.
differential.
That's why I say no, because Buffalo's plus 19.
I am such a believer in goal differential as such a sign for a team.
Buffalo's 2 points back. I mean, Buffalo could be second if we're being honest here. I mean, they're 2 points back of Montreal.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think anyone's catching Tampa. I think Tampa's the best team in the league right now.
They have games in hands, too.
I even say over Colorado. Because
I don't know.
Colorado's been slumping. They lost 6 of their last 10 before the break.
They needed the break.
Yeah.
I don't really know if they needed the break. I mean, Tampa more so needed the break. They have injuries.
Pittsburgh and the Islanders needed the break because Columbus didn't lose.
Tampa Bay has a 59 goal differential with so many guys injured. With how bad they started the season, I'm still saying Tampa's the best team in the league.
Jack, what are your thoughts on
Definitely
the
the
NHL
East,
lottery?
Definitely in the East.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is that playing to their favor, Colorado is 1-5 in shootout. Did you know that?
I did not.
Why are they so bad?
I don't know. But
So much
you
talent.
know what's nice is that there's no shootout in the playoffs.
Oh.
So I really still believe in Colorado as the best team in this league.
Minnesota's only 5 points back of them.
I know.
Ooh, wow.
Can we get rid of the
I
Pacific?
will be shocked if the winner of the East or of the Western Conference is not Colorado, Minnesota, or Dallas. There are not a lot of teams that I'm giving a whole lot of credit to. Edmonton, I
Edmonton or
like
Vegas. No.
Edmonton and Vegas have the playoff experience, and I'll give them that. I just don't think they're on that level yet.
It's crazy how bad the Pacific
And
is
I
this year.
predicted Edmonton would win the cup before the season started, and I would still love to see that, except the fact that would mean that Canada gets the cup for the first time in 3 decades. But those top 3 in the Central are just so much on a different tier than the rest of the West.
Speaking of the West, you look at the wild card race, and is Utah and the Ducks breaking away from that rest of the pack, or do we still think a team like the Kings or the Predators can catch them?
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think the 8 teams that are currently in playoff position will be the 8 teams who make the playoffs in
I
the
agree.
West. I don't believe Seattle is so weird because they'll
Seattle.
win
Yeah,
5 in a row and
I
then lose
know.
8 in a row. But I think it'll balance out enough where they will be in the top 4 in this division.
I wouldn't be shocked if Anaheim takes that 3rd place spot over Seattle, and Seattle falls off the wild card. That's the only situation where I think that we could see a different wild card team is if the Ducks overtake the Kraken. And then you might see
A King.
I still like San Jose to some extent.
I like San Jose more than the Kings.
That's what I'm
and,
saying.
and also, I don't think Artemi Panarin's going to fit with the Kings. I just don't
No.
see it.
I don't think the Kings are a playoff team.
I
don't think the Preds are a playoff team. I think the only team that I think could be a wild card team that isn't right now is the San Jose Sharks.
I think the Preds are going to sell at the deadline, so I think they're going to probably fall
Yeah.
off at
I
some point.
want to talk about one problem with the Ducks.
Yeah.
If they make the playoffs, they are 6-0 in shootouts right now, and they're not going to win a playoff overtime game.
I think it's more so of I
They're-
don't really think that's going to matter too much,
Now,
to be honest.
The issue with the Ducks is that they have a negative 10 goal differential.
Yeah, their goaltending's not good.
Their goaltending has issues.
I mean, Lucas Dostal was not that great for Czechia in the
No.
tournament. So
But if you look at everyone in that Western wildcard race, there's no one with a positive goal differential.
Yeah.
I just realized that Utah has a plus 26 goal differential.
Crazy.
That's
Utah,
shockingly high.
Utah's still a good team.
They're, no doubt about that. I just didn't think they'd be a plus 26.
But
That's one behind Minnesota.
here's my question though is like we're talking about can a different team outside of those top 3 in the Central be the winner of the Western Conference? You think Anaheim's going to come into the playoffs with a negative goal differential and do anything against Colorado?
Win one game.
It'd have to be like a 2007 Giants kind of run,
Yeah.
or something.
Or like Columbus when they
I was
beat
Columbus
Tampa
over
Bay.
Tampa in 2019.
They
Yeah.
swept them.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Well, I do think that Columbus has a chance to be competitive in the East if they can get into playoff position.
I'm very excited for the second half. It's gonna be entertaining.
I wouldn't say I'm as excited for the second half, but I'm excited for postseason because there's not a whole lot of open ends right now. I mean, obviously the wild card race is close in the West. The 3rd spot in the Pacific is close.
I think the East, though, is where all the fun stuff is going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Metro.
And I say that the first place teams in both divisions, I think, are set. I think Tampa and Carolina are undoubtedly
Right.
first place. Second place in the Atlantic will be interesting. Who gets that home ice advantage in the first round?
Sure.
And I think the wild card team. I think the top 4 teams in the Atlantic are all in the playoffs. I think they'll all be in there.
Yeah.
I just think the order could be different. Like I could easily see Buffalo being second, Montreal third, Detroit fourth,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
order like that. Boston will be the interesting one.
Yeah.
I think they've overachieved so much. I don't know if they're going to keep it going out of the break.
I guess I can rephrase it and say not that there aren't open ends in the playoff race. I just don't think I'm ready to be disappointed by how the rest of the regular season shakes out. I don't expect that much change, even though there's potential for it.
I don't want any change.
These could be the standings by the end of the season,
I hope
and
they
I wouldn't
are.
be
Yeah.
surprised.
I really hope so.
I want to see Buffalo get that second spot in the Atlantic.
I want Buffalo
That would be fun.
home playoff game.
Buffalo
one.
game 1 and game 7
Incredible.
against Montreal.
Those would be the best. That would be the best series for environment.
Sabres,
ever.
Habs in a playoff series
That'd be fun.
would be ridiculous.
That'd be great.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
And then you go to the other side and it's, Islanders.
No,
and,
no, that's fun. That's fun.
Islanders and
That's a fun time.
Penguins in the first
Great
round.
time. Let's do it again.
We're in 2016. Yeah, basically.
Let's do it again.
Well, it could be Pittsburgh Columbus or New York Columbus if Columbus gets in. I think
Who's gonna watch that?
Pittsburgh Columbus. The average age in the stadium will be 65.
they have played in the playoffs before.
Yeah.
I think it was 13 or 14,
Sounds
something
right.
like that. It's just all the Appalachia people.
Yeah.
Somebody out there besides me, because as an Islander fan, will watch the Islanders play Columbus in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm not. I'm not watching that.
UBS Arena will be no one there.
Yep.
I'll watch it.
Can't wait for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just gotta make it.
All right. Are we good?
Should we do a game we're most looking forward to
Oh,
when the
sure.
game is back?
Sure.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's pick something.
For old time's sake.
Let's see. Okay, so we're back on Wednesday.
Hit me with the first game. Sabres at Devils. I'm excited to see
That's
the
fun.
Sabres.
Okay.
You know what could be really fun? This is. I feel like I always pick games I'm looking forward to where it's like it could potentially be fun, even though it might be a blowout. Colorado going to Utah.
Ooh.
It'd be fun.
First day.
Utah could stun the NHL a little bit and get that win coming off the break. Yeah. Oilers Ducks that same night, also a fun
It's a
one.
good one.
Wednesday night's a great night.
Wednesday's a good night.
Thursday night is Tampa, Carolina.
Yeah.
And also Minnesota, Colorado.
Islanders Montreal on Thursday.
What about Flame Sharks?
What?
I'm all right.
What about Oilers Kings?
Ooh, Wild Avalanche on Thursday.
Islanders Habs on Thursday is a good one too.
Yeah. It's a good first week
Oh,
back.
Saturday, Islanders Blue Jackets. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be tuning into that one.
Sabres Lightning.
Red Wings
You
Hurricanes.
guys are not ready for the monster second half run that Columbus is about to have.
It's a good week of hockey coming
It is
up.
a great week. We're back.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. This has been the Dump and Chase podcast presented by the Hoosier Network. I'm Noah Widoros with Noah Seuss and Jack Rizzo. We'll see you next week.